Happy World Mental Health Day, everyone. It's the Dr. Denise Show and a mental health break with Vince A. Lanci today. Vince, how are you?
I'm excited to be here. Happy World Mental Health Day.
Happy World Mental Health Day. Vince, I just want to take a moment to pause. I want to thank you, and I want to shout out to all the mental health warriors that are listening to this and that we work with. And I want to thank you specifically for your show. And maybe you could tell everyone a little bit about how you birthed the idea of your show and what does that mean to you on a very personal level?
Yeah, well, I birthed the show through a transformative experience that happened in my life when I was 21 years old. I was the victim of a hit and run accident. There was doubts I would make it through the initial evening. Those doubts switched to that I may never walk or talk on my own again. And I embodied this tell me I can't and I will philosophy. And through this process, I learned I needed to take care of my mental health. So I wanted to give back through my story. We started the platform and podcast, A Mental Health Break with Vincent A. Lanci, where I interview different doctors and mental health advocates around the world to help people fight their mental health disparities. And now we have the book, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health, coming out to do the same. And Dr. Denise is an expert in the book. Can't wait to release it soon.
That's so exciting. Can you share with everyone maybe one of your most vulnerable moments on a mental health standpoint on your journey to healing?
Yeah, there's definitely more than one. So saying one, it would be my pleasure to help somebody else in a similar situation. I went back to New York to rehab with my family, and you're a senior in college, 21 years old, about to graduate, and that's just been ripped from you because of a mistake that somebody else made that you've never met before. So looking at social media as a senior in college, seeing your friends do all these things, meanwhile, I'm trying to rehab and walk around my house holding the wall, teach myself how to walk again. And just that time period and how dark it was just makes me appreciate how bright things are now.
Who would you say was one of or how many people are in your tribe that were instrumental in being there for you? Because I look at, for all of us, times in our life where it's crisis and stabilization and thrive. So who would you say was your core belief system, people? Like, how did you go from your crisis to deciding to have this transformative experience?
Well, I either learned that I could sit and sulk crying, why me, or I can turn something negative into something positive by using my story to help people in similar situations. I didn't really understand how deep my story went in touching other people until I spoke at my commencement for my MBA, about 8,500 people, and I saw the impact it made on them. And I just wanted to keep it going. And through my support system, like you mentioned, my inner circle, I call them my Tampa family. In my first book, Left for Dead, A Story of Redemption, because those are the people that, even though I was born in New York, Tampa was a home to me. I became a man in this city, and my parents, of course, grandmother, sister, aunts and uncles are in that circle. The dean of students at the University of Tampa, Dr. Krebs. I have several mentors as well. And, my great friends here in Tampa, everybody was just so kind, and they helped me rebound quicker than I could have expected through their positivity and devotion as a friend.
Well, and I want to say something. Like you, I decided back in 2016 to go global. And it's, you can talk about what a true influencer it is. And I don't think it's, sometimes people look at the numbers, but I think it's the quality of the connection. And one of my heart intentions was to help change the way we think, talk, and act about mental health. And I feel really humbled and grateful that you made the first move in contacting me and sending me your book. Can you tell everyone a little bit about how that happened, how you and I connected?
Yeah, and I think it's a great lesson for everybody to have to step outside your comfort zone if you want to achieve the goals you want. I researched top mental health influencers when my book, Left for Dead, A Story of Redemption, came out, and I saw Dr. Denise on many, many lists, so I did some research, and I really enjoyed what I saw as far as her giving back to the mental health community. She was building a brand. So I sent her my book. I reached out to her, and she enjoyed the read. She was the first guest actually ever on my podcast, A Mental Health Break with Vincent A. Lanci. And since then, she's been a guest on my other podcast series, What It's Really Like to Be an Entrepreneur, where I try to inspire future and current business owners through our successes and lessons learned. And now she's a star in my new book, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. And it's been really great to get to know her over the last year. And definitely looking forward to getting out to LA as soon as we can.
Yeah, and I just want to say for me personally, I'm humbled. We can list our professional accolades and all that, but I was humbled that somehow when we're trying to communicate from a distance in this world of social media, to know that the quality of connection that you can make with someone like yourself. So I just want everyone to know that the word reverence for me, everyone matters to me, and your vibrational frequency inspires me, Vince. And when I say that, I mean everything's energy. So I look at you as a human being and myself as a human being, but we're also energy beings and souls. And my own intuition about you, and I think we can go there because I like to bridge east and west, is that when someone goes through an event, which everyone, Vince went through a situation where he was a victim of a hit and run accident. And it's a miracle that he's still living. And somehow with his faith, his tenacity, family, friends, love, and an amazing medical team, he's here today. And I know, Vince, from all the people I've ever, either as my friends or been in my office or on my shows, that when you have an event like you had, which was a near-death experience, you often connect on an energy level with your own belief system. I want to hear your faith, how much your faith was a part of where you're at today, because that's an energy vibration of mental health and wellness. That spiritual, that energy is a big part of healing, and I'd love for you to share with everyone that kind of catalyst for who you are today.
Yeah, well, as I was going through the recovery, especially in the beginning in the hospital, I was raised Roman Catholic. I'm religious, and I found a deeper connection, I guess I could say, throughout that process. But when you bounce out of this situation and you reposition what's most important to your life, granted, I was only 21 years old, priorities aren't the clearest because you still want to have fun, but you still want to build your future. And when this happened, I didn't know what it was, but I knew I wanted more. And what that more meant for me was finishing my finance degree after they said I couldn't. Well, I still wanted more, didn't know what it was, took my GMAT, got waitlisted because my short-term memory really was heavily impacted for 6 years. I didn't really start to see much improvement until then. Had to rewire the way I go about my study habits and day of life. Got into the grad school, scored better grades than I did in my undergrad, and ended up being chosen by the faculty to deliver the commencement challenge speech. So just having faith in the process, being true to yourself. Granted, everybody needs to have fun sometimes, go out, do whatever you want to do, spend time with the people who are important to you. But I just knew that with this new brain, I went from a student who can glance over notes once or twice and get an 80 or a B on an exam to someone who now had to read, write, type, read, write, type, read, write, type to have even a tenth of the retention. So I really had to just transform what's important to me and prioritize it, where the people around me now are people who are motivated themselves and motivate their friends, supportive of themselves and supportive for others. And unfortunately, you do drift apart from people over the years. That's common in everybody's life because people go through different paths and different journeys. But right now, I'm just so grateful for the people I have in my life who have stuck by me, who are supportive, because as you can relate to, Dr. Denise, entrepreneurship can get a little isolated at times. And it's nice to have people in your corner.
Well, and I also want to say, everyone, just listening to Vince, that I believe that we have our earth age and then we have our energy or soul age. And I know that when someone has a near-death experience, or you go through the struggle of cancer, or if it's World Mental Health Day, if you felt like leaving the planet due to suicide, you actually end up evolving on a wisdom level where you realize that age is timeless. You can have friends that are in their 70s, 80s, teenagers, but it's really the soul connection. So I think when you go through a crisis like you are, finding out who's got your back, who's there when you're struggling with school, who's there when you're recovering, who's there when you're fighting depression, who's there when you're having your panic attack, who's there. And to me, not only getting the right, like we're talking about World Mental Health Day, having the right medical team, but I say energy tribe, spiritual tribe, whatever your own way you view the universe, make sure you find people that vibrate at a frequency that gives you love and that creates win-win situations, because that actually is an alchemy to mental health and well-being, and also business, finances can translate. And so I think the reason why you might feel isolated at times is because, how old are you right now, Ben?
I'm 29, just turned 29 in August.
Well, happy birthday. So you're 29, and maybe you find that your humility from going through recovery is that you value life, and maybe some people in your age group, they're exactly perfect to what they're doing, but maybe they just don't have the vision you have. And so I'm sure, do you find that you have friends of all ages?
Absolutely. I have friends from all ages, all races, all places, all over the country and even world. And now, as I begin my networking and growing my business, I get the opportunity to connect with so many like-minded individuals. And you hear from many people who reach success, or whatever their definition of success is that connecting with like-minded individuals is a way to achieve your goals and surpass those goals, which I think I'm starting to do because of how many great things have unraveled just because I put effort forth and I take risks, such as reaching out to you. And we've had, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 collaborations now, I want to say. And it's only our first year of being connected.
Yeah, and I just want to say that you and I are very connected with wellness, mental wellness, prevention, destigmatizing. And when you asked me to collaborate in any way I could with the book, I was in the middle of launching a company. And I think it's very important for people to know that even if you're launching a new project, if you find someone that's like-minded, you can actually light the Buddha lamp the best way you can. When I say that, I mean ignite the flame. And I felt really blessed because, right, you listen to your own intuition if you're an entrepreneur and you're in the health and wellness field. When Vince, the first thing he told me, the first name that came to mind for Vince's project was, okay, I know he wants to write this book. I know he wants to reach children. I know we're in alignment. But I was almost going to say, no, I couldn't help the answer no, because I felt like, oh my goodness, I have so much that I'm doing. But instead I said, yes, I can help by making the introduction, and we're going to talk about her in a minute because I want to just really honor her, making the introduction to someone else. And then I can say to myself, what's the 1 or 2 best ways I can contribute to someone with an idea or a thought? So I think the important thing from an entrepreneur and mental health standpoint is be infinite and be open and know your limits, because you can't even imagine how you can influence people. So what happened was Vince reached out to me with his book, and the first person that came to mind is Chris Bridge, who is a visionary in the world of literacy. She's a champion of children's rights. She's won awards, and we'll put the link to her site too. And I thought, oh my goodness, if Vince and Chris can get together and she can kind of mentor, help, because he already had all these great ideas, and then how can I then get my message out? How can we create, when we're collaborating, win-win situations for everyone, right?
Yeah. I mean, I started 2020 by saying this is even my year of the collab. I want to collaborate with as many different people as possible, help them reach their goals, and have some people help me reach my goals. Chris has been a joy to work with. She's been unbelievable. She's so kind. And I will cherish the process that me and her shared in the creation of this book forever. We shared Zooms over because she was in Texas and I'm in Florida. And we built this book together slowly but surely. And this book is it's just something everybody needs to thrive again after this pandemic. It's all the tools needed from 7 different experts in different mental health realms around the country. It's a resource that's just meant to help you. Me personally, I struggle with anxiety. Certain times it's very situational, but we talk about that in the book amongst several other things. Self-care, self-love, hint, hint, that's somebody else's key roles in the book.
Yeah, you're so sweet. So with humility and gratitude, I love seeing other people light up. And a lot of people said to me, but Denise, you've been using this word neurostyle.
Uh-huh.
And that word is something that I brought over to India when I spoke at the Dalai Lama's Body, Mind, Life conference. And my passion for launching the Dr. Denise Show and now, Ascension Media is how do we have unique ways to spread wellness, creativity, and specifically my initial thing was how do we change the way we think, talk, and act about mental health? And so thank you, because you, in your book, you said, let's have a day with Dr. Denise, and that gave me a chance to talk about the word neurostyle, which I define as we all process and perceive things in our own unique way. And that's biological, psychological, social, cultural, and spiritual. And that blends East and West and holistic health. It's all about thriving. And so for me, the opportunity to know you, Vince, you inspire me. You light me up. Like, I know I have my MD and I'm building this beautiful tribe, but you're a part of it. And I think everyone needs to remember that we all have the power within. You don't need to have an MD or a PhD or be a professional athlete or a superstar. We can all be our own superstar, our own best friend every day. And the people that we collaborate with can light us up and become our heroes.
I couldn't have said it better. Yeah.
And I want you to know that I just launched a company. I have a new show coming out tomorrow. But for me, part of my intuitive and awareness process is people come in threes to me. And I've been wanting to do a show with you for a long time, but I had to go, Denise, put your oxygen mask on. You've got to launch this company in a good way. And so today, I'm actually going to launch the show tonight. You're going to launch it first because you and I are spiritually aligned. You've been sending me great things. I knew that you were having kind of a tough week. Let's talk about that, how this isn't just about the show, but we've actually formed a friendship that's real. Like, I really care about you.
Yeah, it's nice that we keep in touch, and 2020 has affected everybody differently. I've unfortunately had several health, non-COVID related issues, and having someone like you in my corner to bounce ideas off of, share how we're feeling, it definitely goes a long way.
Well, and I think everyone remember that when you collaborate, a nice little text or an audio message saying, hey, I'm thinking of you, that we can do that. This is World Mental Health Day. So I also challenge everyone out there that's listening, pick up the phone, whether you've ever had any mental health diagnoses, it doesn't matter. World Mental Health Day to me is about all of us having the sense of happiness, thriving, and knowing that we're not alone. I think COVID, our new normal is that we've been a little bit more in quarantine or isolation, and there's different parts of the world now that because of flu season are more on lockdown, and we need to remember to pick up the phone and hear each other's voice or show someone that we love them, because that's part of mental health, that remember you're not alone and that it is important to reach out. And Vince, I just so appreciate you. Can you tell everyone a bit about how they can find you, and we can put that in the show notes, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about the Ascension show tomorrow, just so people can know where they can find more of you and more of what I'm up to.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity to do so. I would love to have as many people see my content, see my story, because I know some way it can certainly help you. VincentALanci.com. You can find everything VincentALanci. My Instagram and social media is at Vincent A. Lanci. And then from those main accounts, you can find the podcast that we were talking about, A Mental Health Break with Vincent A. Lanci, and what it's really like to be an entrepreneur. You can find a couple of books I've written, Left for Dead, A Story of Redemption, on my personal story and how to transform your mindset when the norm has changed, is an ebook I created. It's only $2. I put it on Amazon to help people look into the life of someone who's been working remotely for so many years. I wanted to try to help others.
Thank you so much. And I'm at Ask Dr. Denise MD, DrDenisEMD on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And my website is drdenisemd.com. I have also my podcast on iTunes, and now the Dr. Denise Show is part of Mental Health News Radio Network, which I'm so excited. And I also want to let everyone know, with humility and gratitude, I have just launched a company this week called Ascension Media. And you can find everything we're up to on ascensionmedia.love. And I have a new show that's launching tomorrow called The Ascension, with Kathleen O'Toole, Dr. Andrea Best, and Jennifer Schaefer, and a special guest tomorrow that we're going to announce later today. So I know you're going to launch this show first because I'm remote and I'm going to launch it tonight. But the most important thing, everyone, is remember your voice matters. Everyone can make a difference. and World Mental Health Day is for all of us. And thank you, Vince, so much for co-doing this show together. I really respect you, and I thank you.
Right back at you, Denise. Thank you so much for giving me the call and opportunity to do so. And I'd like to shout out another expert in the book, Mr. Lanci Talks Mental Health. And what he says, this is Tony Alexander. He says, even your friends that smile, make sure you give them a checkup from the neck up.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Oh
he's
my
great. You
goodness.
can learn more about him in the book. He is a mental health advocate based in Houston, Texas. He's a big advocate for inclusion and mental health awareness. So his contributions to the book are invaluable.
Wow. Everyone, thank you. And we're so appreciative of all the ways you inspire both of us. And Vince, have an incredible day. Thanks for this spontaneous opportunity. Sometimes this is the most fun that we can have when it's like this, right?
Absolutely. Thank you for thinking of me.
Okay, talk to you soon. I'm gonna have you on the show, or you'll be on the show soon. Sending you love and all of you love.